Hello, my friends. We're starting off, of course, with Who Are You? And what came out was the elk and the elephant. What I've been finding is that when two cards come out like this, it's usually not two different groups. It's usually the same person, just two aspects. So let's see how that plays out. Okay, we'll start with the elk. Stable, resilient, headstrong, the father. The great elk represents the earth element in its masculine form. This means it provides underlying support and stability amidst life's many changes. An elk personality, whether male or female, is fully established in themselves and knows their core values. They become known and respected for acting in ways that uphold those values. Sometimes the elk's ego can become inflated, but for the most part, they make good fathers, mothers, lovers, and friends. The world needs more elk energy. When in balance, supportive, kind, consistent. When out of balance, pretentious, high and mighty. To bring into balance, eat and drink more consciously. Something going on with your eating and drinking habits? Elephant, unstoppable, auspicious, wise. The elephant is arguably the most auspicious figure in the deck. So good luck to you, right? Like Ganesh, the elephant represents immense wisdom as well as good fortune. It is said that the great elephant is the destroyer of obstacles. So if this card appears when you feel stuck, rest assured the path will soon become clear. To add to the mystery, the elephant is also known to create obstacles in order to steer us in the right direction. Trust this gentle, noble creature. It illuminates the way with the light of self-knowledge. I think it's also worth noting here that elephants in the wild have started attacking people. They're very strategic about it. And they are doing it because they are tired of the poachers coming and killing them. So they are not being violent, they are engaging in self-defense. And self-defense is not an act of violence. Not that I see this having a good ending, but perhaps self-defense is something that you need to consider. Or perhaps it's something that you are using as an excuse for behaviors that aren't so good. I have no idea why that came out, but here we go. Perhaps as a counterpoint to the auspicious and wise narrative. When in balance, one-pointed focus, generous, loving. When out of balance, misunderstands fate. To bring into balance, trust. So, I think trust is definitely an issue here. All right. So if this is you, this description should have made sense to you. Personally, I'm getting more of a headstrong vibe from the elk. So, a bit headstrong, a bit defensive. But all of the positive aspects are also potentially there. I find the trust is particularly interesting in regard to, so these cards are just supposed to help you identify whether this is your reading, these little cards. And the first one that came out was Judgment, heeding the call. So here you are being called to trust by the elephant, and the next card that came out for you was heeding the call, Judgment. And next to it you have Eight of Wands, gaining momentum, speed, some kind of perhaps news incoming, but perhaps progress for you as well. And it looks like a desire for a happily ever after, the ideal family situation, a loving, healthy, reciprocal relationship, healthy children, an abundance of anything and everything that you need to survive and thrive. But I also read these cards from top to bottom, because I find that top to bottom there's usually a theme. So we have heeding the call, judgment. The next one up is Seven of Swords, and it is in reverse, which is a very good thing, because it is the card of lies and deceit, betrayal. And straighten the record is what they have on here for a brief description, and it's a good one. Seven of Swords in reverse. This is about cleaning up your mess, or cleaning up the mess of someone else who has been dishonest. But where you have judgment, I'm thinking that this is your mess. I always say that the person we lie to the most is ourselves. It's really tough to lie to others without, or, deceive or betray others without first lying to ourselves about what we're doing and why we're doing it. So, the first thing to do is to be honest with yourself. And here we have the Two of Wands, strategizing, planning, thinking things through, figuring out how you're going to go about this. So you are being called to become more than you are now. In order to do that, you have to deepen your self-knowledge. You have to stop lying to yourself. And perhaps you have to make amends, because saying sorry by itself is not enough. You really do have to take action to make amends. Obviously, that's going to look different in every situation. But it is something to keep in mind. All right, now look at the Eight of Wands column. We have gathering momentum. We have speed, something moving fast. And then we have the Four of Cups, which can be a call to meditate. So it may be that you are being ungrateful. It may be that you need to sit and do some reflecting. Again, we've already discussed there's this need for self-knowledge, need to stop lying to yourself. So we have this need to do some thinking and reflecting and appreciating others. And next up, of course, we have the Knight of Pentacles. So the Knight of Pentacles is a slow-moving knight. Up here, we have this desire for speed, and everything else in this column says slow down. It says you're not ready to move. Here you are planning. I know this is the other column. So there's the planning, there's figuring yourself out a bit, let's be honest. And the Knight of Cups in the upright is someone who is diligent, but slow moving. They plan, and they are careful and thoughtful, and they don't move rashly. So while there may be the desire for rapid, rash movement towards this Ten of Cups, part of you knows that it's not going to be that easy, especially if there's this deceit and betrayal to deal with. Whether it was done to you or done by you, it has to be dealt with. You're not going to get to a Ten of Cups from a Seven of Swords. Okay, certainly not quickly or easily. All right, so looking across, need to reflect, some self-knowledge. Ace of Coins, Ace of Pentacles. So this is a new beginning. This is planting the seeds. Although it's generally thought of as prosperity, perhaps a new job. It could also be a new approach to life, how you live your life in a material way. So perhaps you've been someone who hasn't planned for the future, hasn't planted the seeds or tended the seeds to get results. And perhaps this time you want to do something different. Perhaps this time you want to stay there with the seed and you want to come out and check it and water it and protect it and nurture it. Perhaps you are just thinking that this time you want to do things differently. So, if you want to really do things differently, and this is really interesting, because you have the moon here and judgment here. See that? So they're diametrically opposed. Except they're not opposed. They are complementary. So this is what are you hiding from yourself? What do you need to address to achieve this new beginning leading to the Ten of Cups? You're not, if you want a Ten of Cups, you do have to do this kind of work first. These things are not separate. You have to deal with the subconscious, unconscious stuff, because it's all too easy to betray yourself. If you don't get your mess cleared up in your own mind. All right, so that was all intended to help you identify whether or not this reading was for you or not. So I do focus on healing readings. It's just the way I am. So if you are looking for something different, I'm not your reader. All right, and this is the message that I got out. We have number 18, the spring, dreams, refreshment of spirit. And the hill fort, number 23, refuge, safety, security. So, in a true hill fort, you would want to have a spring, right? If you're going to be besieged by attackers, then you really want to have your own water source so that you can stay behind your walls. Otherwise, you won't last long. Anyway, let's look at the book. Dreams, refreshment of spirit. Springs were magical places. Water welling up from the underworld had healing properties and could grant wisdom. Answers to your problems will well up from your subconscious. In hunches, dreams, or sudden flashes of inspiration, encourage them by making sure you get sufficient sleep and drink pure spring water instead of your usual beverage. The spring has a talismanic effect, attuning you to the deeper reaches of your inner self. Keep a record of your insights. It will be useful as you learn how to put these new ideas and concepts into action. Don't discount any impressions or thoughts, no matter how odd. They provide real insights into your mind. So, that one reinforces the moon card nicely. And next, the hill fort, 23. Refuge, safety, security. Hill forts were large defensive structures containing homes and stores and protected by high earthen banks and deep ditches. Often built on hilltops, they kept the inhabitants safe and secure and prevented all but the most determined enemies from breaching their walls. There's safety in numbers. There are times when even home isn't secure enough, and on those occasions you need to find somewhere safe and defensible. Now is the right time to gather with like-minded people to defend what is important to you, on a personal, local, or even global level. Remember, sometimes attack is the best form of defense. Okay, that was a really disturbing card. Wow. But it's definitely suggesting that you need allies. And you need to defend yourself against those who are being obstacles for you. So we talked about obstacles with the elephant, so it's clear you are experiencing some sort of obstacles, and you need allies. Perhaps that's what you're planning with this Two of Wands here. I think I want to get one more card from the Wisdom of the Oracle. Message or advice, because that Hillfort card it's kind of disturbing under the circumstances. Okay, here we go. Clean it up. Well, that ties in nicely with the Seven of Swords, honestly. But it's number 21. Essential meanings: getting to the core of a situation, freedom from a burden, cleaning house, sweeping away what is no longer needed. Ever feel so bogged down with emotional gunk that you can't think straight? Could you be surrounded by physical clutter in your home also? Too much work? Overwhelmed? Time to clean house. Every item out of place natters away at you. Every unresolved resentment, every comparison to others that leads to a sense of lack, takes up energetic space. Every unpaid bill just adds to an unnecessary feeling of being overwhelmed. Now is the time to free yourself by energetically cleaning house. Just do it. Make room for the miracles that are lining up for you. Protection message. Is it possible you may be focusing too much on other people right now? And this says trying too hard to be helpful. But maybe you are also overly concerned with what they think of you. Honestly, most people are pretty self-absorbed. Anyway, does taking on what belongs to others make you feel needed or desired? Perhaps you think it's your calling to relieve people of their burdens, but what is the cost to you and to them? Don't clean up someone else's side of the street. Clean up your own. You are not helping by freeing him or her of responsibility. You're also not doing yourself any favors, and you just might be adding an even greater strain. You are loved as you are. You don't need to be needed to be loved. You do need to make amends if you have done someone wrong. Somebody has been wronged here. I don't know who exactly. And maybe that's what your great challenge is to figure out who has been wronged and what it's going to take to clean up the mess. Whether it's you or someone else. If someone else has wronged you, it might be worthwhile for you to think about how can they make it right? What will it take? It would be valuable for both of you if you could give an answer to that question. And if you are the person who has harmed another, well, obviously you have to make amends. Saying sorry is not enough. You have a mess to clean up. All right. I don't know which way it is for you, but it could be either way. For some of you it might be one way, and others it might be the other way. In any case, I am wishing you all the best, and I hope that you can remove your obstacles. Your planning and your contemplating pays off. Good luck.